This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello, and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB. Today in the arena, we're playing Ultimatum and trying to find the right version for best of one. And while many of you have seen this over and over, and you think you've seen enough of it in the queues and things like that, there's always new people coming to the game, and it makes sense for me to play the top tier meta decks at least once every 30 to 45 days, just because new people entering the game need to know more about those decks and how they work. And this particular one is, well, it's a doozy. This is Sultai Ultimatum, Emergent Ultimatum, also called, for its black, green, blue, casting cost being the House of Sultai. Search your library for 3 monocolored cards, different names, exile them. A lot of you know how this works. If you don't, you basically play a lot of powerful one-ofs, and you cast this, and you get to cast 2 of them for basically the price of 1. And you find the cards that are best for the matchup. Usually getting Allrun's Epiphany, threatening to untap with your 7 mana, because you played Emergent Ultimatum, and take another turn, is strong enough. And the opponent usually has to put this away. This has to be the card they select that you do not receive. Then you get the other 2. And some of the best packages against creatures are Kiora Best the Sea God and Vorinclex, the Monstrous Raider, because that taps down their whole board and threatens to steal their best card a turn later, so it usually keeps them from hurting you, while also creating a 6/6 trample haste and an 8/8 body. That's absurd, all on its own. A good card to get against a control deck who's trying to get you by having reactive spells is Seagate Restoration. This card for free lets you just draw a whole bunch of cards +1 and fill up your hand so that you have more and more ultimatums and more threats, and the hits just keep on coming. So that's a good one to get if you think your opponent's holding up removal, like Vanishing Verse, Heartless Act. You don't want to fetch the Vorinclex if the opponent has up removal. Another great package, if you can catch the opponent without a solution to it, is Vorinclex and Professor Onyx. With these 2 combined, the -8 and the Vorinclex bringing Professor Onyx in with 10 loyalty, you get to basically wipe out their hand and possibly straight up kill them, since Vorinclex can also attack for 6, and this makes them lose so much life. So those are some of the sample packages that make sense the most. The rest of the deck, you just want a lot of control-y elements along the way and a few interesting card choices, and I'll get to some of those. Having a Palaka Predation in the deck is both a land drop and something you can hit with your ultimatum if you think your opponent's plan is to untap an Ugin or ultimatum themselves. Elspeth's Nightmare is a pretty good one too that does something similar but can also go after the graveyard, and when combined with Vorinclex can both kill a creature and attack the hand on the same turn. Not as good as the Predation, I think, for the job, but much better earlier in the game than the Predation is. If you just play this on turn 3, you're usually not unhappy with it. I like having Mazemind Tomes in the deck for a little bit of life gain, which is usually sorely missing in the deck. If the life total gets too low, they can still burn you out. Mazemind Tome helps you get there. I was running this deck without 2 cards. I added 2 copies of Mystical Dispute, and I added 2 copies of Koma the Cosmos Serpent. Why? Because I was actually playing this deck and losing a lot, and we'll go over the stats at the end of the video, so stay till the end if you want an analysis of all the wins and losses. What you're going to see in the video isn't a straight gameplay, it's the games I found the most interesting or that best demonstrate to new and semi-new players exactly how the deck works, or just have the best, what I would call, content plays of truly nonsensical situations. But if you want to see all the stats, stay till the end, because I ran a few versions of this deck. I woke up, I'm like, I need to just make a deck, and then I can go play some Commander with my friends, and playing Sultai Ultimatum, that'll be good for some easy rank in a video that's overdue, right? Well, I got destroyed for about 2 hours, and I found that some cards that make it a huge difference were running 2 copies of Mystical Dispute and 2 copies of Koma the Cosmos Serpent, so that when the opponent is sitting on their Test of Talents or they saw it coming, just waiting on that ultimatum, and because it's a very hostile meta, like everybody is gunning for this deck, everybody hates this deck, you've got to be the villain, and you got to know people are out to get you. But if they are sitting on those cards, Mystical Dispute or Koma seem to be the breaker. Usually if you play your Yorion, the opponent snaps off their Heartless Act to kill the Yorion, because they know there aren't many targets in the deck. You follow it up with a Koma, they're like, oh crap, I messed up. I messed up big time. If they're sitting there with like 5 counterspells in your hand and you play Koma, they're like, oh no, I messed up big time. And if they hold up exactly 2 mana to counter your ultimatum, but you have 8 mana and you mystical dispute their counterspell, they messed up big time. So these are some things that helped really turn the matchup around, and I'll show you the stats for all the builds at the end of the video. Today's video is dedicated to patron Nair. Nair signed up for the patron tier that allows you a shout out in the video. And for his shout out, Nair said he just wants it to be known that we will miss Merchant. And that is very true. That's true for me as well. When I really started getting into making MTG Arena videos, when the client was first produced and my channel started to grow, I considered Merchant and Noxious at that time to be two that I would call like the voice of the game. Their videos received more views than I could ever imagine. And the fans, like, I do feel strongly that the fans legitimately love them. I remember Nox's Twitch streams, thousands and thousands of viewers. And Merchant, when he was on Twitch, would also have hundreds to thousands of viewers. And I remember thinking that I could never like meet that standard. And I know that I'm not really filling their shoes because nobody really can. When a personality decides to move away from the game like Merchant and Noxious did last year, you can't fill the shoes. I will try to entertain you with Magic content. I'm sure some of you here feel the same as me, but they are unique in their own way, and they have their own voice, and I wish them the best wherever they are, whatever they're doing. And since Nair specifically mentioned Merchant, this video is dedicated to Merchant. I hope wherever you are that you're doing all right. I hope you find what you're looking for. I do hope you come back to YouTube someday. And like he said a few times in his video, it's not the end. I do believe he'll be around, but I also hope he finds what he's looking for and comes back excited to be doing whatever it is he decides to do. So, yeah, we miss you guys. And thanks, Nair, for the support on Patreon. And on that note, let's dive in. Let the ultimatum nonsense begin. All right. On the draw again. And here we go. I guess I should make sure I get my colors untapped here. What are you up to? Haven Gamer? Okay. I see you. And I raise you a Haven. We've got some bindings to throw on at those Havens. Weird to not be getting attacked for like 1,000,000 damage right now. You have a Tome? Okay. And a Valky that's gonna whiff. So this is another ultimatum player, I think. The Valky just doesn't make sense otherwise. And they're just running 60 card Sultai. So what's the most important thing to blow up? Is it the Tome for the cards? Is it the ramp for the Haven? Let's de-ramp you. If we're going to be in a race to see who can ultimatum, I think that's the most important thing. Okay. We need to draw land. Okay, we draw Cultivate. It's interesting. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. I guess we'll just try to set up for Emergent next turn. So we need another blue and another black. Could play our own Tome, but it gets victimized by binding. I think I'll just do this. They know about the ultimatum. Vivian. Their deck's weird. Your deck is weird, opponent. What's going on with that, huh? with a blue mana open for a mystical dispute, potentially. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. How do I get myself into these messes? Alright, so against a deck like this that has an interesting battlefield with a planeswalker, 2 creatures, definitely want to threaten another turn. They can't kill the Vorinclex right now, so this is a threat that requires an extra turn. Alright. Don't know what was going on over here, but it wasn't as good as Emergent Ultimatum. 2 Havens, 2 Sweepers, no Companion on the draw. We have to try. Might get run over, which is funny to say. Just, God, mono red with the hello and then, hi, I'm a piece of trash. Alright, let's go. A little awkward here, right? Because these make green. We might need double black. Always on the play, man. Always on the play. Doing their thing. Let's see what happens next. We've got all the sweepers. If they have a Faceless Haven, we still might just lose, though. Magic is easy. Another Shadow's Verdict. Alright. Let the party begin. Less Annex in the world is fine. Yep, uh-huh. Keep them coming. Don't stop. You gotta seek his chariot, too. Good God. Go away. Okay. Target for the nightmare. This is fine. This is all fine. All right, still got 9 points to play with. We've been under siege every turn of the game, and we've swept the hell out of the board again and again. Mono red, stop. Give me your Embercleave. You're not allowed to have it anymore. Or your Frostbite, that's fine too. Make a 2/2, I think? Or just Yorion. I mean, good game? Yeah, sure was. Wow, what a game. Let's go, Mono Red. What else you got? 100%. 100% draws, baby. Uh-oh, no attacks. I guess you get to see the next Shadow's Verdict. Get out. Get out and die. Top decks. There we go. There we go. Send a message. Send a message. Wrap it up. Sweeper Tribal and Serpent Tribal gets the job done. All right. Well, we'll see if Mystical Dispute does anything. I'm not going to turn away a hand with a Cultivate. I'm a little nervous. Might get run over by Lightning Bolt here. How much mono red can one meta play? It's not even a good deck. It's okay. Not remotely the best thing you can play. Okay, we're digging for untapped land and we have to have it. Wow. 3 Triomes instead of an untapped land. Wow. All right. Well, screw me over. I guess I lose. Not much I can do about that. Not much I can do about that. How do I get there? I guess the opponent might Embercleave me here, and I lose. I could try to Mystical Dispute it, but that's not really a path forward. If I play the tap land, and I play the Cultivate, and I survive the turn, then the next turn I could Epiphany into a Coma. If they just have, like, land Embercleave, I wasn't going to win anyway. Their curve was perfect, and I missed one untapped land. What a piece of trash. Alright, I'll try to get out of it, but I'm not very optimistic. The fourth Triome, really? And you think the Shuffler isn't rigged? Eh? Okay, we got there. Well, we got ourselves up to 6. We got Koma on the battlefield to tap the Annex, and now we can Emergent Ultimatum if we make it through the turn. The Rimrock Knight doesn't have trample, and the bird can block it. I think we're actually going to get through this. Alright, let's grab the Vorinclex Kioribes the Sea God combo that can lock everything they have down. And also Alrund's Epiphany, which they can't let us have. Alright, so we need to pick Sea God first, Vorinclex second. Tap your stuff, make an 8/8. And we attack for 12, 13, 14. If the opponent has 2 Bone Crusher Giants, they win because of the Torbrand, but they must not have one right now because they're scooping. And wow, I can't believe we got out of that one. That was... I was calling it quits. Woo! Alright, fun. Stay positive, everybody. Okay, Yorion Mirror. We have Cultivate, we have Omen. This will do. This will do. It'll be okay. It's not the greatest hand, but it might feed into a really good one. At least we have some ramp. Being the one without the ramp is pretty painful. That's a pretty good draw. Get this on the field. A lot of bad draws in our deck in the mirror. We need to scry them away. And the sooner you do it, the better. The card can just rot in your hand later. Omen, on the other hand, sometimes you know exactly what you need to dig for. And it lets you also hold up counter magic, or an activation of Pelucranos, or an activation of Maze Mind Tome, and then do it later. Does not buy Yorion, so we've got a counterspell gamer going here. Don't need another tap land, that's for sure. Well, divide by 0. Okay, that works. That is a play I like to make. We're gonna have a tough matchup, so we need to find Koma. KOMA is probably going to run into a Heartless Act as well, so nothing about this should go very clean. Looks like our opponent might be just blue-black, which, depending how many Test of Talents they choose to spam, could be very challenging. If you want to counter this, trust me, I've got a lot of spells in my deck I don't want you to counter, so I'm okay with it. Alright, we need a land drop. Triome's a good one. And there's a binding there. We'll keep the binding. Cultivate. Sometimes they counter these. What do we need? We need land? I guess we do need land. Let's scry. Good scry. Did not want to draw that at all. Alright, Pelucranos. See what you got. Binding target. Acquired. There aren't that many things to shoot at in this matchup, so you take what you can get. Their deck is designed to feast on ours. It's a tough matchup. You just have to draw the good cards, throw them down their throat, and hopefully eventually they run out of the interaction that they need. Would also be nice if we drew cards like Mystical Dispute. Would be a good thing to see. Don't know if we will, though. I don't think I'm going to scry this time. I think I'll take the chances that I can wheel a land. I don't want to play these Seagate Restorations as lands, but who knows? We might have to. Opponents pulled out the full rope for this turn, so there's something they want to do on their turn, but they're worried about leaving up mana. So they use Extinction Event. They kill the Pelucranos. They did it. Oh, and they play a Tome? Okay. Binding target acquired. It's not a land, is it? Let's see if we can draw one. I know I want to make this play anyway. I don't really want to do this, but it is what it is now. The deck has spoken. You must use your binding on that tome. You must play the Seagate Reborn. I did everything I could. The World Tree. Okay, so they are Sultai, and possibly a very classic Sultai. That World Tree is pretty suspicious. So we want to leave up a Mystical Dispute. We want to buy Yorion. Green, green, green. We'll play on blue. Say go. All right, can we get our opponent to make a play? They tapped out last turn. Maybe they'll tap out again. Ashiok. Ashiok's kind of weird. It's not going to bounce anything. It's going to make a creature. Can I find another way to beat it? They might be holding up a counter for us, which is pretty meh. But let's try it. They know about the Yorion. So let's try for that before the restoration. Resetting our tome would be nice. Okay. All the Triomes produce green, so we've got plenty of green. Let's just make sure we have a lot of extra blue. Those are not cards we want for the matchup. Neither is that. All right, top of the deck turned a little icy here. Play your own Yorion. Get it Heartless acted as well, I'm sure. Well, mine came with a tome. Mine came with a good book, so... Haha. The thing is, I don't even want to spend this yet. I don't want to Heartless Act. I want to cast Seagate Restoration. And we need that to resolve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're playing a land first to play around a dispute. Okay, we could just bind this Yorion and try to drag out this Seagate Saga. I don't think that's the right play, though. I think we gotta go for this. Okay, 2 ultimatums feels nice. You also really want to leave a Heartless Act open in case they have an ultimatum so that you can kill their Vorinclex. So that you don't have to scoop to like the... Or you don't have to give them a turn to the Onyx or the Tybalt package. Let's just draw. Resources are resources. We gotta line these things up right. Go big. Ultimatum. Let's do it. I present you with an ultimatum. F's in the chat. All right. Stuff happens. So, did they draw that neutralize? Or were they holding it just for ultimatum and they let me draw a bunch of cards with Seagate? Because that's gutsy. That would be a gutsy play. I'll keep taking some damage. We have a virtual fog out of the tome. We'll just draw some cards and keep getting settled. Because we want to keep... They're getting low on cards. We want to just keep forcing them to answer these threats every single turn. When you got them on the run, you keep them on the run. Chariot? What you got? What's that? Resolve? Okay. So do we keep playing around Mystical Dispute? We could try to slam this Epiphany. But I think playing around Mystical Dispute is just a smart idea in the current meta in these mirrors. Everybody's onto that technology, you know? So let's go for the binding. Divide by 0. Okay, they had something for it. They've decided that this is how they're going to try to win the game, by attacking with Yorion. They're going to try to defend Yorion. They also, I mean, that is another sign they might have a dispute, because they know if we have an untapped land, we can just replay it. They grab Teachings, which is going to work as a draw 3. I think we'll just draw with our tome, gain the life. And I think I'll also foretell this. Keep that Heartless Act available. They're still not sacrificing the Omen, which means either they play more Yorions or they're holding on to the possibility that they might cast Divide by 0, bounce their Yorion, and play it again. Nice 3-mana draw 3 there. So, 7 mana. What's the play? Pestilent Haze. Okay. Nice. Back up to 9, draw a card. Another land. Another land. This always happens to me. It's part of the experience with this deck. You run a lot of land, so you draw a lot of land. Let's see if the opponent's willing to fight over this binding again. Not anymore. Alright. How about this Epiphany, which, because we foretold it last turn, gets around Mystical Dispute. Okay, we're using Neutralize. Opponent with a true collection of nonsense. I have a collection of Shadow's Verdicts. They're absolute musts for the aggro matchups in the white decks. But not right now. What? Okay. Yeah, you've really milled me a lot. That is one way to play it. We got snow mana in here? Like, seriously, what is this trash? Strong. Strong cards. Okay, let's go. Oh, no, I had to shuffle. Okay, it's an F. That's an F. Okay. Which counterspell would you like to use on this? The answer is none. How about this? Resolves? Okay. Seems strong. I'm gonna keep playing around Mystical Dispute. I could go for another ultimatum here. I just don't think that's the way. The opponent will probably Extinction Event these. Omen. Okay. I mean, you've got all these cards. Surely something here is the answer. It must be. To main phase an Omen like that feels... Ooh. Feels desperate. I'm expecting a nonsense pile like this to have some surprising over-the-top play to try to win the game. Not that surprising to see a Shadow's Verdict. That makes sense. Maybe their strategy is just to battle through the Kiora Best the Sea God and not care. Maybe. Let's cycle. Draw. Yay. See if we can complete the mirror here with all the sweepers in our hand. All right, we have the red source for this. Any way that's going to shuffle away these cards? I mean, do I need a binding, though? Probably not. All right, 4 mana, 5 mana open. My creatures gain Death Touch. Haha. Let's be an imposter. They finally saw it coming. Okay. Play around Mystical Dispute for another round. They definitely have enough to cast another counterspell if they have it, but they can also just scry. We've waited this long, though. Let's keep waiting. They do not scry the omens. Very odd. Am I stealing the World Tree? Okay, they've got their own Seagate Restoration. It's on. How many counters do you frickin' run? This isn't Sultai. This is a weirdo Sultai control. And we're not sure what the green's for. They might actually play an ultimatum in there somewhere. An ultimatum that fetches cards like Seagate Restoration into the story. Give me your World Tree. Hand it over. Yeah. Alright. See if that goes through. I really want to know if playing around Mystical Dispute has been a good play or not. Okay. They're going in to the deck. Alright, what is all this? Another Yorion, another Restoration, a Professor Onyx. But they're tapped out now. They have a lot of cards to discard, though. Like, this is all trash. The thing is, because they have so many cards, we can't run the Professor Onyx Vorinclex thing and have it work. Their Professor Onyx is just meh. Seagate Restoration is worth so many cards, though. But we could let them have it and run the Professor Onyx Vorinclex thing. Is that a good play? Is that a good play? We probably want our own Seagate Restoration. Yeah, I'm taking this. No counters, though. Feels good. Is that really what we want? Let's think. You. Yeah, I guess. You and you. They'll probably make us put away the Restoration, so we need to do something with our extra turn. Professor Onyx digs, and there's not an easy answer to Professor Onyx in this hand. Nothing here kills it. Man, I talk about drawing land. Our opponent drew a lot of land. Okay, they put away Professor Onyx. Interesting. So we get another turn with all these cards, and our opponent tapped out. Let's see if we can make it count. Oof. Alright. Let's go Wolf Willow Haven. Let's... No. Let's activate here so that we can power you up. That was not a great draw, but we can do a lot of damage, and that might be a good way to apply pressure and make our opponent do things they don't want to do. My turn. What's our basics like in the deck? There's actually still a few, aren't there? I don't see any swamps or islands here. So should we cultivate before we draw? I guess so. Make it good. Well done. That's pretty good. That is the draw we needed. And the opponent will scoop it up before we grab the Onyx Epiphany Vorinclex package and conclude the game. Woo! Nice rank. Big green stuff usually doesn't lie. Usually there is, in fact, big green stuff, though I've seen Gruul and I've seen Selesnya. And let's keep a handful of sweeps. Although Gem Razor could be a big problem. I said big green stuff usually didn't lie. And look what happened. Look what happened. Strict Proctor. Interesting. Interesting. Whenever a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability to trigger, they must pay 2. Well, it doesn't affect me that much for now. It doesn't affect sagas, which is weird, but there it is. These aren't very aggressive. If the opponent doesn't have Winota on 4, we're doing okay. We got Plarg on 2. The Dean of Chaos. Tap, discard a card, draw a card. 5, do a weird thing. Okay. Do you have a land? No? Well, that might be our saving grace here. I'll just... All right. We'll keep this. We'll buy the Yorion. And we'll try to curve out. Oh no, we don't have 2 blue. That wasn't a very good keep then. With the tome. I should have put the swamp on the bottom. Gotta watch out for that, because now we can't binding into Yorion unless we draw blue. Oh, Winota gamers. So what are we doing? We're naming even here? I don't know. Okay, we're definitely naming even. I was gonna say, they might play Elite Spellbinder, but Proctor and Spellbinder is not a combo, which is why I never run this card. Spellbinder is too important in this matchup. Bottom. We could hold. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to gain 4 life soon. We might get to counter Winota here. And if we do, next turn Verdict kills everything. Yeah. That's better. Because we're actually in a tough place. If we Extinction Event here, kill these. The opponent plays Winota, attacks with Savior, triggers Savior, gets something good like a Blade Historian, then our Verdict doesn't fix it, and Binding only kills one of them, and it actually kills neither because of the Savior. So, yeah, we're supposed to pass the turn here and hold up Dispute, which is insane but true. Opponent keeps looting with the Plarg. Augusta. Other tapped creatures you control get +1/+0. It's a lot of damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But I think it's fine, and we save the Dispute for later because of the Tome. If I didn't have the Tome, I'd counter that just because the life total was going to be too low. Untaps everything. You can use the Plarg to loot again, which is tech. Down to 6. They probably see this coming. We do need more blue. We're having blue problems. The Subira. The Subaru Caravaner. It's a weird one. Didn't pause for me. All right, green, green, green. I guess we go more green. And I guess this is coming down. Get rid of Subira. We're at 4 life. Let's just draw the card and gain the life now. What's the play? They know about the Yorion. So anything they play can and could be Yorioned. But, as they see, we don't have the mana. Crafty. Alright, too bad we can't hold up Dispute. But we can get another Tome cooking. And we seem to be way ahead. Courtesy pass. All right. The big cards are coming. One of the problems when fighting the ultimatum decks is when they have an awkward draw and their mana is weird and tapped, you just know when they finally get it together that the ultimatums are coming. Definitely that. Definitely this. So what's the other card that if they take it, they can't win? Liliana? Seagate? We've got too many of the good cards in our hand. I guess I'll go Valky. I know that's not a real problem, is it? Yeah, they put away the Verdict. We get to cast this. We get to cast that. They're not gonna... They want none of it. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Ah! We get to keep our rank for a moment. We go first with a Cultivate. Yay. Looks like we have to fight rogues, but we have the Polukranos in hand. Could be interesting. Never mind. It's not rogues at all. Some absurd white deck. Okay then, I think they're gonna love Shadow's Verdict. Let's get them acquainted. So what do we need? That's the last green we need. More black can't be a bad idea. Come on, baby. Come to daddy. Oh, I feel so much better being in this seat than the one of the opponents. I've been there so many times recently. How does the 80 card deck cultivate into Verdict as often as they do? The world wonders. Well, they got a lot of cheap white creatures, don't they? But they're missing out on the good white creatures, and that's the problem with the Lurrus version of Mono White. You're missing out on Spellbinder, Skyclave Apparition, Redain. Like, those cards are too good. They're just too good to skip. So what do? Polukranos is a big unit. Heartless Act is doing not much, but I think if we have Polukranos on the field to stand between our Liliana and our face, that's better for us. Sort of want the Heartless Act to get the Haven, but now that there's two, maybe not. Wow, you just have a Giant Killer. What a curve. All right. Let's do this. Don't worry, Polukranos will come back at some point. All right, we can try to Omen for the goods, or we can keep the pressure on. Can see a case for both, to be honest. Yeah, let's force the opponent to spend their turn powering up a Haven and attacking Liliana Vess. I mean, Professor Onyx, of course. Plus, killing this gets Yorion online. Interesting. Do you have another way to pump this, or a Ginger Brute? Very interesting that they just go for the Lurrus buy. Okay, they do have a way. Alright, so you're also some kind of an All That Glitters deck with very few artifacts and enchantments. Okay. Weird. Very weird. Event? Event on odd seems good. Maybe before we play the Yorion, though. Savior, yep, bring him out. Lurrus, bring it out. What are you gonna do? Ginger Brute? Nope, that got exiled. I think they missed that. But maybe they wanted to play the Savior anyway to protect Lurrus. That false sense of security against the deck with all exile effects. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Bye-bye, kitty. The doggy can't save the kitty. It's so sad. It's so sad. Sky Noodle for best companion. Sky Noodle stronger than Luris, haha. Seems okay if we can fill up our hand a bit. And of course that's pretty good. Just, we're looking for all the 7 cost cards now that we're at that mana. A few ways. Let's take our time. Let's savor the moments. No way to cast the Valky yet. We haven't found Binding or the Red Triumph. There's a Faceless Haven over there. Sky Noodle doesn't want to trade damage. Sky Noodle is damage. Roar. Have you met Sky Noodle's kin? We're both members of the Serpent family. And that's game. Alright. We've got Dispute and Haven and Binding. Yeah. On the play. Yeah. This is good. This will be good. So we're going to need something to be green, so we better make this blue? I think it's a blue. White mana go. Let's go with green. Slam the Haven. And we're on the move. White red. Magda. Not the time that anybody wants to run into Binding the Old Gods on 3 on the play. Pew pew. Yeah, this version of the deck is easy mode. Again. Ultimatum next turn. Black, black. Just play this on green? No, green, 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 blue, blue. Yeah, play it on green or blue. Doesn't matter. Actually, doesn't matter. We did find a chariot. I'm just gonna play this. I like drawing cycling lands later. It's fine. Roar! All right, so they might have or be going for Winota. So what's the best way to deal with that? Definitely threaten the Epiphany. Palaka's Predation doesn't solve the problem of 2 Winotas, which could be a thing. The extra mana from a Valky can't play anything that really stops it. So I guess we have to do things like, if we lock the creatures down, that stops the Winota. So we get the Kiora, and we get the Vorinclex. They might have to give us the extra turn. And to be honest, our extra turn isn't exactly brilliant. It's probably buy and play Yorion, but then we also pass with Dispute open, and that stops the Winota too. So, yep. All right, so you. I think opponent with the right call there, though. Also, if we draw another expensive card, it gets real fast. Verdict? That's pretty brutal. That's pretty brutal. Get some birdies before you die. Perfectly playable draw from the opponent. It's just not going to matter. They're going to have no kitties. They're going to have no Winota. No future. You must stop the Vorinclex. It's going to kill you. Yeah, Giant Killer won't do it. They need a 2-mana way to remove it in Naya colors. It's asking a lot. Elite Spellbinder. I guess I'll use this. So how are you gonna block it? How are you gonna stop Big Klexi? Another Magda, perhaps. Oh, that's rude. That's mean. I'm a bad man. And we are back for the post-game wrap, and let's check the stats powered by untapped.gg. Free download in the description. Please check it out. Supports the channel. And yeah, this, as I alluded to before, this was my day. Mostly just getting smashed with various versions of the Sultai deck, especially the version I started with that didn't run the counterspells or the komas. A 36% win rate, a 4-7 performance, not something I would want to make a video and share with you guys. And you see that version had some interesting card choices like Erebos' Intervention and Fae of Wishes, but those really didn't help when Test of Talents and other counter magic came calling. As I said, the meta was pretty hostile. And then a few adjustments with this version, but then thought I could do a little bit better, and then made the adjustments to play the version that you saw in this video, which finished at 8-3 with a 73% win rate, and was able to actually battle through some of the hate and counter magic that we saw along the way, as well as just having those crazy draws where you ramp into Ultimatum, where you ramp into Verdict, and it gets the job done. So this is the version I would play going forward. Of course, small sample size, I do the best I can, but it did kind of rebuild us from Mythic 1143 up to 424. So I think there's something to be learned for that the meta actually is pretty hostile towards this, and if the matchmaker is putting you up against a lot of other decks using counter magic, you're going to need Mystical Dispute, and you're going to need KOMA. I thought that KOMA actually did add another dimension to the deck that was very strong. You ramp into stuff, they hold up mana because they're expecting to have to counter it. You slam KOMA, they go, oh crap. They wet their pants. It's over. So anyway, that's it for my take on Ultimatum. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did and you're still watching, you should subscribe because you probably enjoyed the content enough to keep it on for a while. Like, hit me with a comment. What other cards should be in Ultimatum? What cards would you take out? To put them there is particularly useful. Anybody can suggest a card to put in. Very few people take the time to figure out what to take out. And also, of course, reasons. I know, I'm asking for too much in a comment, but those are the comments I actually read and think about, as opposed to the comments that are like, why not card X, which I don't even respond to most of the time, just to be honest with you guys. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I'll see you in the next video. You're cool.